Hello. Thank you to everyone that is joining us today. I'm actually live at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas, but joining us we have our garden experts. We have Christina, Helen, and Sean. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and explain a little bit about their enthusiasm with gardening, and then we'll get started on our questions today. Christina, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Christina Silva. I'm the Ground Chat host and blog, The Real Gardener. I'm a green horticulturalist. I've been a horticulturalist for the last 30 years. Time has flown when you're having fun.
And Helen?
Yes, I am Handy Helen. I am a home gardener, avid about growing and teaching and gardening with kids and growing in my community. And I'm out back today in the wind.
It looks beautiful. It's nice
We're
to see the
lucky.
sun. And Sean?
Sorry, I am Sean James. I'm with Fernridge Landscaping and Eco Consulting, and we do a lot of work on Twitter at Sean Fernridge, trying to educate people about gardening and environmental gardening issues.
Thank you, guys. And just for those of you who are watching, my name is Lauren Hogan. I am the digital manager here at HomeAdvisor. So let's get started. Today our topic is summer garden tips. We're going to keep this short and simple. We have two questions for our panelists to answer. And question one is, what are your summer garden tasks and why?
Okay, should I start?
Yeah.
No, I say Sean starts. Go, Sean. Go.
All right.
Well, I kind of cheat because having a landscape company, I also have a crew. And it's forever a battle to keep weeds under control. Everybody's looking for low maintenance gardening, and my garden is many things, but low maintenance is not one of them. So weeding, and I think of it as refereeing. That's also a big thing. Stopping plants from duking it out too much together. If this plant is wonderful and aggressive and is going to overwhelm the other plant, then I need to work on trying to make everybody play nice together. We're always mulching and composting. We do a lot of planting here because I'm always trying new things. So obviously staying up on the spot watering is a big deal. Being observant about what plants are going to stress, and that goes along with especially vegetables, but any new plant. We do a lot of drought tolerant landscaping, and the irony is for the first year, plants need more care, more attention to detail. So that's the third big thing that we look at. So weeding, refereeing, and spot watering.
I'm taking notes. What about you, Helen? What are your summer garden tasks and why?
Oh gosh, right now, we've had just like a really odd start to spring ending and summer. My tasks right now, I succession plant, that's what I call it. So I'm actually still planting sunflowers, sweet corn, and beans. So I actually just planted out probably my last set of sunflowers, beans, and sweet corn. So I get that last later harvest in the fall, especially with the sunflowers, because we dry the heads and use them for bird feed all winter long, which is kind of fun. And I think Sean hit the nail on the head when he said weed control. Constantly getting after the weeds, because if you have trouble growing anything, plant a garden and you'll grow plenty of weeds.
Regardless if you have a green thumb or not.
Yeah. And this is my second year in raised bed gardening, and it's just it's a totally different process than my row gardens. So I'm still learning. Things seem to germinate and grow so much faster in my raised beds. So I guess I'm lucky because I'm playing the harvest game already. I've got mature tomatoes on and mature peppers, which I'm about 4 weeks ahead of schedule, and I can't believe that with the late spring that we had. So it's pretty awesome.
And Christina, what about you?
In addition to everything else that you guys have mentioned, I'm not going to cover the same thing: weeds and mulching and watering. We all know that already. The one thing I think that wasn't covered was deadheading. If you have a lot of things in your containers or your perennials, you go through. I know it sounds like a strange term, deadhead.
Yeah.
Basically, what you do is you go around, snip the spent heads of the flowers. You know, when they start to wilt.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can get more flowers coming continuously throughout the summer, because once they've set seed, they really don't want to flower anymore, because that's the whole reason behind flowering, is to get the seeds. If you get the seeds, they stop flowering. So we trick them. This is what we do. This is why people get into gardening. They manipulate the environment. This is control. If you have control issues, get into gardening. You can start using them. You can snip off the flowers that are starting to go, and then that guarantees you more flowers throughout the summer.
Okay. And you do that with all your flowers, or any specific?
Oh, just the ones in the containers. The ones, for example, your perennials like rudbeckias and echinaceas, you know, the cone flowers and the black-eyed Susans. Leave them, because you want those to stay and go to seed in the fall, so that you can feed your birds.
Okay. Okay.
I would add to that the plants that could rebloom, deadheading is going to help that rebloom. So, for instance, shrubs like butterfly bush and spirea, that's going to help extend that bloom period. I have a few Scots thistles in my garden, which horrifies some people. And if I deadhead them, not only do I get too many Scots thistles next year, but it also keeps that bloom going all year long.
I pinch back too. My rule is like for mums and my asters, and I guess basically my mums and asters. I've been pinching them all back till this week. This is my cutoff week. I don't pinch anymore after the 11th of July, so I get that late bloom, late as possible.
And can you explain what pinching back is for those who don't know?
Hey, I just go pinch. I don't know if it's a perfect science or not, but I get a little pinchy with everybody, you know. I don't take it all the way down to the ground. I usually leave, you know, a good 4 inches.
Okay.
And it's an experiment. I've never had it bite me, you know, and not have anybody come back. But my asters actually got chest high, and I really wanted to not have them bloom too early, because I want them for the color in October. So I cut them all back to the ground, and they came back valiantly. They're about waist high again already. So
Okay.
pretty excited.
Great. And then our second question, which kind of leads up for the fall, which is hard to think about considering it's only July. But what are you guys planning for your fall garden? And when do you start? And how do you prepare?
I'm always thinking and analyzing, looking at my garden and seeing what it needs, first in terms of texture and then in terms of color and bloom period. So I spend a lot of time looking at what plants that I think I need in my garden, and so I'll be planting those throughout the season as I see holes or as I make holes by digging and, in my case, selling some things. So then now I have a new hole that I can plant things in. So that's part of my thought process. The pinching is important, as Helen said, because then you get better bloom, and in fact, more dome-shaped lower bloom, which is important. And so it's succession planting. Sometimes you want things later on. One of the things that you can do to get more blooms later in the season is you have to be ruthless with it. As soon as your delphiniums are finished blooming, then if you cut them right to the ground, heartlessly, they will come up and bloom in the late summer, and blue and the lesser degree purple are somewhat rare and special colors in the garden. So I do start thinking about that now. I also start thinking about what not to prune, specifically for fall and winter. And as you hated saying fall, I hate saying winter. So winter interest is a big deal as well. I actually do deadhead my coneflowers throughout the season a little bit to get more bloom, but then there's a period that I stop at so that I'll have lots of seed for the birds. There are things that I leave in my garden that cost me more work, like true thistles, like gold thistles. But I like it because it brings in the goldfinches in the fall, and I don't just think about the flowers and the foliage for the fall and the structure and the form for the winter. I think about the wildlife that's going to come with it because I'm working on ecosystem gardening. So when I first started leaving the gold thistles, everybody made fun of me, and then they came back in August and they said, "Oh, your garden is magical." And why do you say that? Oh, all the goldfinches are just beautiful, and that was because I left the thistles. So there's a balance in gardening. There's very little black and white. It's all a decision-making process. And that doesn't need to scare people. Sometimes people will think that that's going to be a problem because, what if I do the wrong thing? What if I don't know? We have a joke slogan at our company. It'll come back. If you prune something at the wrong time, it'll regrow. If you let something grow that maybe you didn't mean to, then it's going to have interest in the garden. Maybe you're going to discover something wonderful about that plant. I think very hard about what to remove that Mother Nature plants. I have some wild asters in my garden that came up on their own, and they've turned out to be in just the right place. I'm very happy, and they're beautiful plants. So it's as complex as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a chore. It should be something that you enjoy. Mm-hmm. You can put as much thought into it.
Thank you, Sean. Christina, I'm going to go to you next. Helen, I think I accidentally muted you because of the wind, and I need to figure out how to unmute you. So I'll let Christina talk, and I'll try to figure out the technical aspect on my end.
Okay, the fall. It's a great time to reseed your lawn. So you'd want to start, depending on where you are, you could start any time in September to probably October, depending where you are in North America. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, and then the other thing that I do is plant bulbs and the spring blooming bulbs. Fall's a great time. So they usually the bulbs come out really early in September, and I usually go and get them early, even though you don't plant until the soil has cooled down somewhat. But I like to get first pick because once they've been there for a while, they tend to get mushy and stuff. So and then you don't have much choice. So I bring them in and I put them in the basement where they're nice and cool. Once the soil has cooled down, I can then start planting my tulips, my daffodils, my hyacinths. I tend to like to do that a lot. And I'm going to leave something for Helen, so I'm going to show you.
All right. Well, I didn't. Will you try talking and let's see if we can hear you? Or do you see a unmute button on your end by any chance?
Oh, how about now?
Oh, yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Helen. I'm so sorry.
Hey, I've been muted by worse. It's just fine.
It was just with the wind, I thought.
I know. I came in the house. As I said, it had stormed earlier and it got sunny, and now it's coming back again. Now I'm distracted. Fall. I'm really bad about planting edibles in my garden that are good for fall, like radishes and carrots that can come around for another. Just one for my own garden this year is to get with the program and replant snap peas and radishes and carrots when the soil temp cools down. And like Christina said, I really get excited to go plant those fall bulbs that'll bloom in the spring. It's a game. I couldn't believe it last month when I got an email from one of my favorite places to shop that said fall bulbs or spring bulbs on sale. I about panicked because, you know, the selection, I didn't want it to get picked over because they're such a present after a long, long winter.
Yeah.
I like to try to not get lazy in the fall because then in the spring I get frustrated with myself if I haven't done those things. And we have a lot of prep for winter here in the fall, you know, getting our sunflowers dried out so there's seed for winter interest for the birds, and just try to keep things interesting when there's lots of snow cover on the ground.
Yeah, you guys must get a tough, rough winter out there, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see the bulbs in the spring.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, great, you guys. This hangout it's about 15 minutes, so I think we're going to stop it at this. But I just want to thank everyone who is watching, um, and for Christina and Sean and Helen for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And I hope that this was beneficial for all you gardeners out there who are getting ready for the fall and the winter, and it sounds like maybe even next spring.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.